Hey MotoAmerica fans, this is Superbike rider Kyle Wyman. Thanks for watching. Subscribe to the MotoAmerica YouTube channel for more coverage, and also like or comment below.
In a place that's created some of the closest racing in MotoAmerica history, and what a last corner, last lap victory yesterday. Jake Gagne didn't want any part of that story. Jake Gagne will cross start finish line, take the checkered flag, and win his 4th race in a row. Can anyone stop the Gagne hot streak? It's time to find out right now. Anticipation at an all-time high for the MotoAmerica AMA FIM North American Road Race Championship. It's MotoAmerica Superbikes at Road America from Elkhart Lake, Wisconsin, our 3rd round of 9 for 2021. Hello everyone and welcome to the broadcast booth and welcome to the HONOS Superbike class, our 2nd race for this class this weekend here from Road America. I'm Greg White, standing alongside Jason Pridmore. Now, Jason, so far, granted, it has been the Jake Gagne show, something very unexpected for us heading into this season.
I think when we saw Cameron Beaubier get the call up to Moto2 that we thought it was going to be really close this year and everything was going to be really tight. And it just hasn't been that way. Jake Gagne has just been on a mission this year. He learned a lot, I think, last year from Cam. And you can see the highlights from yesterday. He's doing exactly what Cam did last year. He'd get these great starts. He laid down a 2:14.1 right off the bat to pull away from everybody. Now, the battle for second was intriguing. Bobby Fong had it for a while. Small group of riders started to catch him, which included Loris Baz. Gagne comes across the line, letting up to win by some 6 seconds. Baz at the line nips Cam Peterson with Bobby Fong close in tow for 2nd, 3rd, and 4th.
Yeah, it was quite the battle for 2nd place as Jake Gagne looked back and said, where's everybody? The margin of victory? Well, if we look at his 4 race wins in a row, you go 4 to 11 to 13, and I think yesterday he managed really that lead, and you have a 6-second victory.
No question.
But for Jake Gagne, impressive as well for Loris Baz. So let's get right down to Hannah on the grid.
Well, guys, as you know, Loris Baz is a newcomer to our series, and Road America is also a new track for him, but he managed to race his way to 2nd place, just catching Cam Peterson at the line. Loris, how do you plan to improve on that result today?
Well, we definitely did a fun race yesterday. I think we made another step forward this morning in the warm-up. It's the closer we ever been to Jake, so we just try to make another step today. Let's see where that step can bring us, but I'll try everything to go behind Jake and chase him like I did yesterday with the other guys. So that's the plan for today, and use the power of the Ducati.
Best of luck out there, Loris. Let's move on down the grid to Jamie Howe.
Hannah, Cameron Peterson finished 3rd yesterday, earning his 1st Superbike podium in the Superbike category. But for you, Cameron, while it brought some encouragement, it also brought some frustration. What's been done overnight to ease some of that?
Yeah, I mean, you know, like I told you earlier, I was super stoked getting my 1st podium, but getting drafted to the line, it hurt a little bit. So, you know, I just went back. The boys, we did some work. We made, you know, minor changes to the motorcycle, and I feel like we're going in the right direction. So, you know, we're here, we're on the front row, got a nice line to turn 1 on the inside. So just looking to get a good start, and hopefully we latch onto Jake just for a couple laps, you know, make a bit of a race out of it. And yeah, just really looking forward to the race. Should be a good one.
Could easily make an argument that he definitely has the preferred line going into 1, Greg.
He definitely does. And Jason, in talking with the team, Chris Ulrich specifically, it was a rear wheel speed sensor that did him in with a half a lap to go. But Road America, it definitely benefits fast motorcycles.
Yeah, and here it is, right there in front of you, big front straightaway, down into turn 1. Out of turn 3, you're going to get down another big straightaway into the hardest braking zone, turn 5, up to turn 6, a blind left-hander into a fast right, turn 7, down into 8. Then we got the carousel down through the chicane, then again back down to Canada Corner, turn 12, back up a steep hill out of there through 13, through 14, and then up the big hill to the start-finish line. This is the place every rider loves coming, Greg, and it's just, you can tell the whole area is beautiful.
Yeah, one rider loves coming here is Roger Hayden, and he is our host for our Ducati Fast Lap. Let's get right to it.
I'm on board the Ducati V4S here at Road America. And let's look at some key points at this long, fast track, starting at turn 1. Really hard braking. You see a lot of guys making a pass into here, pulling out of the draft early. Then turn 5. one of the most fun corners on this whole track, but it's also really tricky. You can get sucked in the draft, and then also it's downhill braking, so you'll see a lot of guys running wide. And then maybe the most important corner, turn 14. It is so important to get a good run out of this last corner because that is the run to the flag.
We are 5 minutes from a race start. Can Jake Gagne make it another race win? We're getting ready to find out. For this Superbike race, you mentioned that the grid has changed because of a new rule this year where it's not based on qualifying. Race 2 grid is based on race 1. So Loris Baz, who qualified 5th, had to come from that 5th spot on the grid yesterday. Now he's 2nd on the grid.
And another guy who's going to get to move up in the front row is Cam Peterson. So he's going to get a front row start today, so he might be able to get a better start and latch on to Jake Gagne. And I'd say a couple guys who were losers in that the new starting procedures. Josh Herron goes from 2nd to 5th, and then Bobby Fong moves from the front row to the 2nd row. So it's a bit of a shakeup, and you might think only one row is not really that big of a difference, but it really is.
Yeah, again, we've been waiting for Baz to show the speed early in the race, and also Peterson. He has had pace all weekend, but he was battling with his teammate Fong for the majority of that race, and as they battled each other, I don't know if they would have had the pace to run with Gagne anyway, but they never really had a chance to show it because they were fighting each other. So if either Peterson or Baz gets a better start, either one of them or both, it could at least change the complexion because I don't think we saw their best because they were in a battle the whole time yesterday.
Cam Peterson definitely looked like he had a little more pace than Fong yesterday, trying to get by him. He could never make the pass really stick. We thought he was making a pass a couple times into turn 5, but just Bobby is so good on the brakes. It's really hard to outbrake him. So today, if he can get a good start, hopefully latch on to Jake, and I'm sure Baz is thinking the same thing and not let him get away. These guys don't want to get beat by Jake Gagne by 9-10 seconds.
No, and then they got a couple of weeks to think about it. This momentum, the confidence swing, it'll loom large as they go into the Ridge in Washington for our next race. Riders going to get a look at this Road America track. That's not a real race start, but if it was, it'd be a good one for Josh Herron, who, as you mentioned, is shuffled further back on the grid for this race than he was yesterday. Herron, if I remember back this morning, just all weekend, man, that theme continued. A lot of time spent in the pit.
Just having a lot of issues Friday morning, missed the whole first session. Then he ran out of gas in the afternoon, and then this morning he didn't get to do any laps in the warm-up, which is really difficult because after the first race you have the opportunity to sit down with your crew and make a lot of changes going into the next day, and that warm-up is the time where you get to see if you made the right changes or if you went the wrong way.
Okay, so a little bit of a guessing game for the number 2 of Herron, so maybe that's why he's hustling a little bit more on this sight lap to see where his bike stands, that fresh and lean attack Yamaha. No worries for Gagne, who was fastest in the morning warm-up. No worries and also no surprise, but as we mentioned, Baz was only 0.2 of a second off, but then Baz crashed. So we'll see if they can get that bike right back where it was. That's going to be a real question for that Warhorse Ducati New York team. As they file through the carousel here, getting a final look at Road America before our final race of the weekend. Man, it has been an enjoyable one. A little warmer than usual here, but maybe that's mixed up the racing a little bit, so we'll take it. And they're through the chicane and then the kink, and the riders will be headed back to the grid, and then it'll be time to go racing here. HONOS Superbikes, MotoAmerica Live Plus.
Today's Superbike coverage is sponsored by HONOS, the apparel brand promoting talent within the adrenaline sports realm. And in part by Geico Motorcycle. 15 minutes could save you 15% or more on your car or motorcycle insurance. And Dunlop, the official tire of the MotoAmerica Championship Series.
Welcome back to Elkhart Lake, Wisconsin for race 2. Starting grid, because this is how they finished in race 1, Jason.
Jake Gagne, Loris Baz, and Cam Peterson on the front row. Baz only 2/10 off Gagne this morning in that warm-up. Bobby Fong, Herron, and Skoltz are going to be there on row 2. Kyle Wyman, Barbara, and David Anthony, row 3. And then we got Jeff May, Jake Lewis, and Travis Wyman. First 3 of our Superbike Cup competitors. Then we got Corey Alexander, Andrew Lee, Michael Gilbert, Max Flinders, Daniel Lewis, and Wyatt Ferris. A little further back to row 7, Dunham, Giannato, Coffey, Gerardo, Jeffrey Perk, and Jake Schmatter. And all the way back to row 9, we got Jason Uribe, Jason Farrell, and Larry Pegram.
Packed house of talent in this one, but everybody getting after the number 32. Does anyone have an answer? How about this guy, number 2, Josh Herron, Fresh and Lean Attack Performance Yamaha. He looks ready to go. Bobby Fong gets into position. Upper left-hand part of your screen, you're going to see those red lights go on. Revs are up when they're off. All right, so we're away racing. And Jake Gagne with another great launch.
Bobby Fong as well from row 2. Both the Suzukis get away well. They're going to funnel in behind that 32 of Gagne. Now, the important part, Greg, is they got to go with him early. Cam Peterson was so good at that last year in our stock 1,000 class. Bobby Fong gets shuffled back. Herron goes up to 3rd. Cam Peterson doing everything he can right now to go with that 32. Very impressive.
What a start from the 45. M4X Star Suzuki's Cam Peterson. What a difference from yesterday. And Peterson, is he going to make a bid for the lead? Are you kidding me? Side by side they go, and Cameron Peterson is leading HONOS Superbike for a moment as they go down into turn 5. Gagne retakes the lead.
Josh Herron looked like he was going to get in deep. We'll look as this camera pans out. Let's see, is that Herron that just went backwards? It is. Baz is going to go up to 3rd. Then we're going to have Kyle Wyman slots himself into that 4th spot with Herron. Bobby Fong made a mistake down in turn 1 or got shoved out a little bit in turn 1, and that's what's caused the 50 to be back as far as he is. But look at Baz now trying to get on the back. Both of these guys know that they have to go with Jake Gagne. They both said it in their pre-race interviews. We got to go with Jake.
You got to rough him up too, and you got to throw a shot at it and really just disrupt his rhythm. But this is where Gagne's so strong. Through the carousel, into the chicane he goes. Number 32, Fresh and Lean Attack Performance Yamaha, Jake Gagne, who has set the pace the entire weekend. Bobby Fong with a big mistake.
Just having a struggle first lap for Bobby Fong. He's had such a strange year. He's going to get himself back in line here. No real positions gained. All those guys are going to go by him, it looks like. But by pressure, Greg, it's not necessarily even roughing him up. It's not allowing his board to start saying +2, +3, +4. By just staying there where you need to be and keeping that constant pressure on is what you have to do. There's Bobby Fong. He's going up underneath Josh Herron now as they come up that hill. You can see Hector Barbera ahead of him. Very strange first lap for the 50. Kyle Wyman and Matthew Skoltz right now running 4th and 5th.
Skoltz on that Westby Racing Yamaha was your points leader coming into this weekend. He's now 2nd in points. Panera Bread Ducatis, Kyle Wyman onto the front straightaway. We go. And Jake Gagne with a 3/10 of a second lead over Cam Peterson and Loris Baz right there as well. We've seen Baz continue to get stronger and stronger as the race wears on. So Baz trying to do what he said he wanted to do on that Warhorse HSBK Racing Ducati, but back to Josh Herron and Bobby Fong.
Yeah, they're back here right now trying to battle their way back up to the front. Bobby Fong is going to try to go past and draft Herron. And it almost looked like he didn't go by him down the front straightaway so that Herron wouldn't go back to by him down this back straightaway. Fong slides up underneath him as they go down into turn 5. Herron lets off the brakes, isn't going to allow the 50 past.
So Josh Herron, fan favorite, back there in 7th spot. Bobby Fong trying to make some inroads. There's the race leader starting to eke his way away from Cam Peterson. And Jay, this is where we see with clear track ahead of Jake Gagne. And now from a dead stop, he again did a 2:14, a 2:14.3.
Incredible. Other guys still were in the 14s, weren't they, Greg? Yesterday it was almost 2 seconds, or like it was 1.4 seconds or something, the difference. But The thing is that Gagne got out early yesterday. He started running I think he ran a high 211 or a couple 211s. Then it kind of mellowed out to the 212s, and he was about 3 seconds up the road. Now, if he starts doing that again, these guys are going to be just a little bit closer. So it's going to cause Gagne to push a little bit harder for longer. And you can see Matthew Schultz has made his way past the 33 of Kyle Wyman. Now, Hector Barbera is in the draft of that Ducati, and he's not able to do anything just yet. And you can see Herron and Fong have recovered. They're getting to the back of these other two guys now.
Hector Barbera on the Scheibe Racing BMW, a very fast motorcycle, second fastest trap speed of the race yesterday for Barbera on that BMW. Kyle Wyman's Ducati has been extremely fast as well in a straight line.
Let's see what that BMW has. Does it have anything for Kyle Wyman as they come down the front straightaway? Gagne now out to a 1.5 second. Greg, 1.5 second lead. He runs a 2:10.9.
As Baz, and there's some smoke coming out of the Ducati. So after a pass, Baz looks like he's having problems with that V4. So Loris Baz, that could signal the end of his race, hand in the air. He obviously felt the power delivery diminish and shaking his head. Bad
Just
luck
devastating
for Baz as he moved himself into second spot after doing a 211. But Jason, a 2:10.9 is unbelievable.
Yeah, that is so fast to do 2:10.9, and you can see Herron's not letting Fong have any of his own way in order to go forward. He slides back up underneath Bobby as they go down to turn 5. Bobby turns it back up underneath him. Let's see if he can make it. He
that's
can't.
Tough.
That's a tough one to go there, and Kyle Wyman was able to not get drafted down either one of those straightaways. So Bobby right now probably a little bit frustrated. Didn't run the best first lap he's ran, and as you can see, he got pushed out in one, missed the chicane on the opening lap.
So Fong, number 50, on that M4X Star Suzuki, chasing number 2, Josh Herron, freshly attack performance Yamaha, Scheibe Racing BMW, right ahead is Hector Barbera, ends up coming to MotoAmerica late, and Barbera trying to find a way around on the right part of your screen. Left part of your screen, Jason, it's that.
It's so sad, too, because he runs a 2:11.7, did Baz. Gets himself up into second. These two might have been able to work together. The hard part now for Peterson is he's got a gap on that group behind him, but he doesn't have anybody to really draft and redraft with. So Cam's just going to have to keep his head down, look up the track. As you can see there on the bottom right part of our screen, Herron's making some moves. He runs wide, and Barbera goes by him. It looks like Fong's going to go by him as well. Let's see. Nope, Herron stuffs it back up underneath Fong again and runs just a little bit out there. So this battle is for fourth right now, and this, you never know what can happen in these races, Greg. With Baz out, this could turn into a battle for the podium.
Talking to Steve Scheibe, owner of Scheibe Racing, about Hector Barbera. The Spaniard enjoys, absolutely loves racing a motorcycle. Even though he went down and caused the team a little bit of issues and broke his finger earlier on in the weekend, he still loves climbing back on the motorcycle. Matthew Schultz, our championship leader, coming in here now kind of in no man's land, but he's in third spot as Kyle Wyman's trying to find an answer, trying to chase down Matthew Schultz. But we understand Hannah is with a very special guest down in pit lane.
Greg, I do. I have a very special guest in our midst, Jim Farley, the CEO of Ford Motor Company. It's an honor to have you here with us this weekend. What brings you out to our HONOS Superbike race?
Well, really, Wayne and Richard, what they built here is so impressive. Car companies were really noticing, and it's great to see the fan enthusiasm on a summer day in Wisconsin. What's better than MotoAmerica race?
Who are you rooting for today?
For me, I really love the bagger race, so I was rooting for Harley. I'm on the board of Harley, so maybe not a fair assessment, but no, I'm really rooting for the sport. I'm rooting for Wayne.
Love to hear it. Jim, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Guys.
Yeah, and Harley Davidson doing a great job today, winning here in Wisconsin with the number 33, Kyle Wyman. But Hector Barbera got by Kyle, and so now he moves his way into fourth. And Wyman looks like he's going to come under fire from Josh Herron. So underneath into the chicane, Wyman having a difficult time getting that Ducati slowed down. Jason, I know in talking to the Wyman crew, really struggling with finding really the sweet spot of the setup this weekend.
Well, more of balance, and in the most important corner here, you look at the turns that lead on the straightaways. Yes, they're important, but the one corner you spend a ton of time leaned over is Kyle fires right back going into Canada corner. that carousel goes on and on forever. And you can see how much Hector Barber pulled away from Kyle Wyman in that carousel. That's really been a contentious spot for him over the weekend. He was almost 0.6 down compared to what he was last year in that corner on that bike. So it's a geometry thing that they've tried to find to get him comfortable, and they just haven't been able to get him comfortable in certain specific spots on the racetrack.
This is the spot where Ducati is known for the top-end horsepower. But you can see the fresh and lean attack performance Yamaha of Herrin able to get in the draft of Kyle Wyman. Is he going to be a demon on the brakes in turn number 1? They're going to tip it in and go side by side. No room for Wyman. He's going to get out in the dirty stuff. So Herrin takes the spot. He's going to try to chase down Hector Barbera. So it's Gagne. Now the 3-second lead over Peterson and Matthew Skoltz, your podium at the moment.
Yeah, now they're going to just try to draft and redraft. You can see Matthew Skoltz is just up the road. What a tremendous result this is right now for Hector Barbera, putting this bike fourth. Obviously, MotoGP experience, World Superbike experience. Herrin now tries to go back up underneath Kyle Wyman and is going to make that. Will Bobby Fong make it? Nope. But Hector Barbera, as of Friday morning, had never seen this place. And Barbera right now finds himself in fourth, Jamie.
And when Hector did get to see the track for the first time, remember he had a crash on our first day here. He ended up actually breaking his index finger, and he's really struggled through that. He said yesterday in the first race he lost a lot of his confidence following that, and so he was able to build it up with the result yesterday, but he did have a problem with the bike electronics. They did switch the maps out this morning. It has a little bit more power. His plan for today was just to follow the fast riders around, get his confidence back, and really turn in a solid result.
And so far so good in fourth place. But Josh Herrin, as he really likes to get the bit between his teeth, and when Josh is feeling it, there's no one in the sport better at chasing someone down than the number 2 Herrin.
Oh, he just grinds. He goes after guys, doesn't he? And there's never any let up from Josh. So once he gets on you, he's on you.
7.5 laps to go in the HONOS Superbike race number 2. We're watching that battle for fourth place as number 80 Hector Barbera, the Spaniard on the BMW, leads this battle, and then Josh Herrin in 5th spot. Moving up to 6th is Bobby Fong, and then Kyle Wyman. Onto the straightaway they go. This BMW has been awfully fast, but that Yamaha R1, and talking to Richard Stamboli, the owner of that team and crew chief for Josh Herrin, he said, Jason, that when Jake Gagne had the motor expire first race of the season, he had built a motor that was really, really fast. And they don't know where it failed, and so he's backed that program up, and they're in safe mode. So they're slowly adding a little bit more power to that motor, and that's where we are right now. A look at the 85, latest motorsports of Jake Lewis, the first of our Superbike Cup riders. He's in 9th place. So for Jake Lewis, Superbike Cup is a championship inside of a championship where stock 1,000 spec machines compete in the HONOS Superbike class and compete for prize money of their own. So leading that category is the 85 of Lewis. Back to the battle for fourth.
Yeah, and Jake Lewis is 3.6 seconds up on Travis Wyman in that battle. As you can see, Herrin now is going to have a look at Hector Barbera as they go into turn 8. Thought better of that move, but look for something possibly out of this carousel. When he comes out of this carousel here, he might try to line himself up to the left side. Barbera looked pretty strong through the carousel, doesn't he? Doesn't really look like that gap is closing down much.
And we saw Jake Lewis yesterday struggling just a little bit. He was struggling to find his way around the racetrack with the right racing line, but during the Superbike race, he did follow Corey Alexander and Jeff May, and he picked up on a few things, and he returned that in to a race win this morning in the Stock 1000 category, but he said it really came down to what he was able to pick up on. You see what it's doing now. He's ahead of them on the racetrack.
And Jake Gagne continues to lead this race by 4.2 seconds over Cameron Peterson.
We've lost Kyle Wyman, haven't we?
Yeah.
Yes. Yep, we lost him. I didn't see him in that group, and you can see him holding his left arm, just holding it down there a little bit. So going into the chicane, obviously the 33 had a problem.
Yeah, it looks like a little issue with his left shoulder, perhaps, or arm, but so it's Gagne, Peterson, Skoltz, Herrin over Barbera. A good look at our race leader, freshly attack performance Yamaha, Jake Gagne, who has just grabbed a hold of this championship after a DNF in race 1, trying to get his 5th race win in a row. And Cam Peterson tried. There was a lead change.
Hey, he's doing 2:12 still. Both these guys, 2:12.4 for Gagne, 2:12.5 for Cam Peterson. And, you know, this is just the thing with Cam. He's matured. He's going to keep chipping away at this thing. And just knowing that he led that Superbike race for a brief second even is going to give him confidence. He's trying to trim that gap down to where it was yesterday. How about Matthew Skoltz? Talking to him yesterday a little bit down in the dumps a little bit. Was the number 11 rider, our points leader coming in. Has some issues this weekend, but right now he's finding himself in 3rd. This would be a good chunk of points for the 11.
Yeah, what a bunch of work the Westby team did overnight to get that motorcycle better for Matthew Skoltz. As we drop back to the battle for 4th, it's now come down to these two. They've raced each other a couple times in the past. But Jason, if you're Bobby Fong, what's your strategy with Josh Herrin right now, especially heading to the chicane?
Well, I think, too, they're going to be looking and seeing what that gap is doing. It looks like he's trying to make a move, but he's going to fall back in line here. You know, the thing is that when you ride around Josh, you got to try to figure out a way to make it a fair pass, but you want to try to get by him and get away if you can. And Herrin's good about just kind of hanging on to the back of you. You can see here he's in the draft as they head down to Canada Corner. What you got, Hannah?
Well, speaking of Herrin, he only got a couple laps in this morning. They tried some different things that work really well. He said mentally his head is there, and that combined with these bike improvements is his confidence that he can improve his result from yesterday. Ultimately, he just really wants to keep up that corner speed. He knows it'll help him make up a lot of time that he was losing yesterday.
Yeah, and talking to Richard Stamboli about that confidence building, one of the things that they were doing this morning was trying a harder front tire than he's run before. It's a different front tire than his teammate runs now and what Cameron Beaubier ran last year, but similar to what he ran back in 2018, talking about Herrin. So the number 2, freshly attack performance Yamaha, Josh Herrin, continues to lead the way in 4th spot over Bobby Fong and that M4X Star Suzuki. And Jay, taking a look at these motorcycles, under acceleration, it seems like Bobby Fong's motorcycle is a little bit more twitchy, spinning up the tire a little bit more. You can see that acceleration. Herrin's bike looks really smooth.
Yeah, and Herrin's bike's fast too, and you can see Bobby Fong's pulling out of that draft now as they head down to turn 5. I think Bobby just really wants to lead through turn 5 and out, but Herrin's not having anything of it. He gets up alongside of him there, and he can't quite get past all the way.
This morning was a busy one for Bobby Fong and that whole M4 team. Yesterday, when he was out on the racetrack with his teammate Cameron Peterson, afterwards he said he can do things on his motorcycle that I can't do on mine. His crew chief, Frank Aragaki, said, okay, we're going to give you exactly what Cameron has. So they went out this morning with Cameron's exact setup on a bike, and Bobby still was not able to replicate what he saw Cameron Peterson being able to do. So he had to take that inward and think about his riding style and the way he was going to approach those. But he said, you know, you can't just change the way you've raced when you've raced that way your entire life. So the frustration just continues for Bobby Fong as they try and find their way in 2021.
Yeah, I didn't see this coming for Bobby. I really didn't. He's so good, and it's really hard. And there he goes. It's a hard pass. Yeah, it's a hard pass. I could tell that these two guys were maybe there was a little bit of something that went on at the beginning of this race, but it's allowed Hector Barbera to jump right back into it with them. And I thought there might have been something that happened at the beginning that didn't make Bobby that happy, and I'm not sure what that was about right there. Bobby almost looked like he was telling Josh, like, jump in behind me, we can catch up. That's what it looked like to me, yeah. We can catch up, and even Herrin shook his head like, yeah, let's go. So you can see, but this is a hard pass. You've made up your mind early, and he just parks him, and that's essentially what he does. He looks over, parks him, and let's see what happens here. Looks, he's going to tap the back of his bike like, let's go. And Herrin's saying, yeah okay, let's go. But Barbera's like, wait a minute, I want to go too. So he's up underneath Herrin as they get ready to go down Canada Corner. And what it's done is it's pushed Herrin behind Barbera now. And Bobby Fong's got that little bit of a gap that maybe he wants.
And this tends to be one of those situations where there are certain ways that Herrin rides versus the way Bobby Fong rides, that he does need a clear track so he can have the corner the way he wants it to get the speed. As Fong goes into turn number 3, and you can see that he's fighting that front end as well when he was going a full lean angle. Not big dramas for Fong, who is extremely talented, a dirt track background. On the left part of your screen is our leader, Jake Gagne, who's got a 5.2 second lead over Cameron Peterson and Matthew Skoltz in third. Bobby Fong is in fourth with Hector Barber and Josh Herron, who hasn't quite. He's recovered, obviously, as Barber now. Josh has gotten by him. But now the question is, did Josh Herron agree with Bobby Fong's assessment of why don't you get on my tail section and go? Or is Josh Herron seeing red mist right now and he's upset that he got parked? Because, Jason, most riders I talk to don't take it favorably when a rider passes them and says, hey, why don't you get on my tail section and we'll just ride this out.
Well, yesterday we saw Herron tapping the back of his thing saying, hey, everybody follow me. And maybe Bobby felt like, I don't know what happened there, okay? But look at turn one at the beginning. It looked like there could have been a hard move. I've seen it one time. So I kind of felt like something was brewing there. And now we're going to see if Bobby Fong can start closing that gap to Matthew Skoltz. A little bit further back, David Anthony, saw him at dinner last night. He's like, hey, at least I got a result. Finally got a finish. He's had a really rough year, has the 25. Obviously, Aussie Dave here runs his own program, runs a great program. In fact, Jason Uribe on board with him this year. He's got Jake Lewis on the Superstock bike in the Superbike Cup leading is the number 85, Jake Lewis. These guys have been tied together. Dave Anthony got down to 2:13.7 today in this race, which is the fastest he's gone all weekend. And he says, Jay, I've made some silly mistakes at the beginning of the year. He's been beaten and battered a little bit. We saw him get hurt at Virginia, but it's good to see Aussie Dave running 7th and improving lap times.
Yeah, Aussie Dave on that Fly Racing ADR Motorsports GSXR 1000 on a freshly attack performance Yamaha. Jake Gagne streaking away towards his 5th victory in a row. Right now maintaining a 5.3 second lead over Cam Peterson, who put up such a fight on that first lap. About 2.5 laps to go in this one with Matthew Skoltz in a lonely 3rd spot.
And you've talked about it before, Greg, about, and sometimes I forget all the history of stuff, but this guy, when he started winning on 600, he started winning a lot, didn't he? And then it was the same thing in the Stock 1000. When he started winning a lot, and he won both those championships. And you're kind of seeing that again out of Jake Gagne. Yeah,
when things are clicking for Gagne, this is what you get. You get 2nd place by 5 seconds with a couple laps to go. And Gagne is so talented on a motorcycle. And when you just build his confidence up and you give him something where he can feel everything on the bike that he wants to feel, this is what you get. Impressive from Jake Gagne. And Jay, we've talked about it too off camera, like who in the paddock is going to be able to stop Jake Gagne? And the way it looks right now, it's only Jake Gagne.
Yeah, no, it does. But this kid here, I pump him up a lot because I believe in Cam Peterson, and I love his work ethic. Both these guys are really good friends. I've ran into them in airports before where they've been hanging together, and always fun talking with both of them. And I get into a lot of really good conversations with Robbie Peterson, Cameron's father, who I used to be lucky enough to be on the track with at times. And Cameron's he's matured a lot, and every time. Right now, he can see Gagne still up the road. He realizes that the gap is 5.3. He probably realizes that Gagne's pacing things as well. But when you can see that win is just that far up the road, it's going to continue to motivate Cam. And, I expect him from here out to have a tremendous year. I noticed it in the first session on Friday. He just looked different here, and he looked solid and ready to go.
2 laps to go in HONOS Superbike race number 2. A clinic so far by Jake Gagne. Still a lot of laps here, a lot of tarmac to cover in this one, a little less than 8 miles, but it's Peterson in 2nd and Skoltz in 3rd. Fong's in 4th, who's got about a 1.5 seconds over Herron. Barbara, David Anthony, Jake Lewis, Travis Wyman, and Corey Alexander, your top 10, with Gilbert, Lee, Uribe, Flinders, and Wyatt Ferris. 3rd place, Matthew Skoltz, Westby Racing. Jason, lessons to be learned for the young Skoltz, who was leading the championship. Unfamiliar territory for him. He loses it this weekend. What advice for Matthew Skoltz would you have given him?
Well, I was lucky enough to talk to him yesterday. I said, Matthew, things are a bit of a struggle right now, but what you can't do is you can't go dig the hole deeper. You can't override something, as you can see him ripping out of turn 6 there. Can't go overriding something and throw the bike down the road and then completely take yourself out of it. We still have a long championship to go, and there's a lot of laps to be gone through. So right now, this would be a great result for him. I will say this, the last lap, Bobby Fong was a full second quicker than the number 11. And I know we're running out of laps here. the pit boards will tell Matthew that probably Bobby Fong is coming. But Bobby Fong is also doing the same laps as his teammate Cam Peterson. You saw him there in the background. He's broken away from Josh Herron and Barbara. And Bobby Fong is on the go right now at a 212.7. 213.6 last time by Matthew Skultz. But if he gets this bike and he's able to put it on the podium today, I think he'll be more than happy with that.
Yeah, this is round 6 of 20 in this championship, and anything can happen. As for Jake Gagne, boy, things are really going his way, Jason. And when I talked to team owner Richard Stamboli about what they're doing to make this bike a little bit more comfortable for Jake, this particular part of the racetrack, right there as they come over the crest of the hill towards start-finish line as he takes the white flag, one of the improvements they were able to make was, for the first time, these Yamahas are able to go to full throttle coming over the crest of the hill. Jason, you raced here before, and so much horsepower in these motorcycles that it's about either using the rear brake or rolling off the throttle slightly. So for Jake Gagne, they're able to get the thing to full throttle, 100% throttle over the crest of that hill, which is something new for those bikes. But they do it electronically. So they were working this morning to dial that back a little bit and increase his speed. And a 210.998 as the fastest lap of the race on lap 2 proves that what they had going on worked.
He's still doing low 212s. And, you know, 212 won that last time by. And you can see that gap between Matthew Skultz and Bobby Fong has closed down a lot. Again, a full second or more, actually 1.1 seconds quicker was Bobby Fong on that last lap to Matthew Skultz. So he's coming, Greg, on that number 50 Suzuki at the moment.
Yeah, and you could see that Bobby Fong, when he was racing with Josh Herron, felt like he had a lot more speed in him, and I think that's why he tapped his tail section and said, come along, let's go. And he's proving it right now as deep into this race on this last lap of the race.
He's coming, Greg. I mean, he's not that far back, and Matthew looks almost like he's got a problem. You know, I can see him looking back. I saw him look up over the front end of the bike as they came out of turn 3, almost as if he's got a problem. And right now, when you're Matthew and you keep looking back like that, he's obviously thinking, man, somebody's coming, something's happening here. And Bobby Fong is going to be close enough by the time they get to that front straightaway, I believe, to draft past that number 11 of Matthew Skultz.
This is the final lap of the race, and Skultz trying to hold on to a podium position. But Bobby Fong trying to get that M4X Star Suzuki on the box and make it 2 and 3 for Suzuki. Oh, this is going to be so close. Fong has got his machine working so well. Into Canada corner they go. Just a couple more corners.
He's there now, isn't he?
Yeah, he's there. And you can see Bobby was able to be at full lean angle and more comfortable. Coming up over the hill for the 5th win in a row, Jake Gagne takes the checkered flag and extends his points lead. Cameron Peterson, another podium appearance for him, and a great job. And here it goes, the final spot on the podium. It's a drag race to start finish line. Matthew Skultz looks like he's under. No, he holds on by 4 thousandths of a second. Bobby Fong missed out doing his fastest lap of the race on the last lap of the race. A 2:12.3 for Fong. And just like that, 4 thousandths of a second.
Matthew must have done something spectacular in those last 2 corners to get away, because when we panned back to the leader and the winner of the race here, Jake Gagne, 5 in a row, I thought that there was no way that Bobby Fong wouldn't get past Matthew Skultz. So something incredible must have gone down there for Matthew through those last couple of corners for him to be able to hold it off, and that's a great result for the Westby team, all things considered, on the weekend.
Yeah, definitely all things considered. Incredible. Jake Gagne. Jay, let's take another look at that finish between Skultz and Fong. Oh, that wheelie.
That's it. That wheelie is what really cost Bobby Fong from being able to get all the way up alongside. And you can see for sure at that angle, that Westby bike crosses that line just a little bit ahead of Bobby. And so that little bit of wheelie is what looked like cost Bobby Fong that podium.
So for Jake Gagne, Jason, the impressive speed continues. We talked about Jake Gagne breaking Cameron Beaubier's outright track record here at Road America from last year. And he does it again. Jake Gagne breaks Cameron Beaubier's race lap record that was set at race 2 right here at Road America. That was a 2:11 flat. And so now Jake Gagne at a 2:10.998, the first MotoAmerica HONOS Superbike rider to ever do a 2:10 during a race. Impressive. Can't wait to hear from Jake Gagne about his race when we come back.
Well, another win for Jake Gagne, Jason Wygant, and Roger Hayden here on MotoAmerica Live Plus. But we got what we wanted. We wanted to see if Peterson and Baz, with better starts, could at least keep him honest. They did a little bit. In fact, Peterson almost made the pass in the first lap. In the end, Gagne pulls away to win. But it is still progress for Peterson with every race.
It's a lot of progress for him, each race getting closer. And then today, we've kind of seen his pace the last couple races. We've thought he was faster than the group in front of him, but he could never make the pass stick. Today, he didn't have to make no passes, and he kept Jake Gagne within 6.7 seconds. That's what you have to look for is your gap to the leader, and who knows what would have happened if Baz's bike didn't break. But great ride by Cam Peterson, 2 podiums this weekend, and something for him to start building on.
Yeah, you mentioned that tough break for Loris Baz, who had just made the move on Peterson for second, and then the bike let go. So title hopes early for Baz, with 3 races where he hasn't scored points now are going to be very tough. Matthew Skoltz managed to survive. That was a nail-biter down to the end.
Fong was coming on the last lap.
Thought Fong would make it happen, but then we caught it. It was a wheelie that cost him. We'll show you with the overhead, the draft attempt coming up out of turn 14.
This is coming out of the chicane headed down toward Canada corner. You can tell Fong's trying his best to get in the draft, get as close as he can, make a little bit up here on the brakes. You can see Matthew knew he was coming. He was looking back, trying to really force it through here. Fong's getting as close as possible. He'll set up wide in this last corner to make sure he can try to get the best draft possible.
So we thought the way that Fong had closed in, that once he got here, he'd be able to draft by, but he couldn't make it happen.
And I think he was there. Even Matt looked back, but this wheelie right here where he had to shut off a little bit, you can see him stall out for a second, costing just that little bit.
And Matthew Skoltz holds on. That is the definition of salvaging a podium. Not the best weekend for him overall, but he gets podium points in this second race. He finishes third, and that'll help preserve a whole lot of points in the standings. He did lose the lead yesterday, but he's been very consistent this year, so you can't count him out.
Also, for the weekend that he's been having, he's been struggling a little bit. Yesterday, 6th, and to come away with the podium today is a really good ride, especially he's in it for the championship. So he goes out, tosses it down the road today when he doesn't have the pace to win is a smart and move on to some of these tracks and try again.
Now, another thing, right behind it, Fong got to him in the last lap, but most of the race Fong was in this crazy battle with Josh Herrin. That was aggressive.
It was really aggressive. They were going by. That started on the first lap in the first turn, and it went on all the way till the end. And if Fong could have got by him a little sooner, I think he would have been the guy standing on the podium.
Yeah, so he's probably a little bit frustrated with that 4th, but the M4 X-Star Suzuki team has something else to celebrate. The rapidly improving Cam Peterson, 3rd yesterday, 2nd today, and almost made a pass on Jake Gagne. That's right. We're at that level now where if you almost make a pass on this guy, that's something to celebrate, because Jake Gagne is on fire in 2021, and he's collecting some accolades from his crew, and then he'll be on the podium. We'll talk to him about the win, and then we'll celebrate with champagne at what has been a banner weekend for MotoAmerica here in Wisconsin, and Jake Gagne sitting on another win with an epic streak to start the year.
Today's Superbike coverage is sponsored by HONOS, the apparel brand promoting talent within the adrenaline sports realm. And in part by Geico Motorcycle. 15 minutes could save you 15% or more on your car or motorcycle insurance. And Dunlop, the official tire of the MotoAmerica Championship Series.
Post-race celebrations for HONOS Superbike race number 2 as Jake Gagne makes his way into winner's circle after a dominating victory and a new race lap record here at Road America. And for that, he's rewarded with a 6.7 second victory over a very hard-fought Cameron Peterson. Matthew Skoltz holds on by 4 thousandths of a second over Bobby Fong. And while we were away at break, we had a look at that, Jason, and we think we know why, but we'll talk more about that in a minute. let's get right down to Hannah with our winner.
Jake Gagne's win streak continues. This marks his 5th this season. Another big margin of victory for you, Jake. How was this race different from yesterday's?
It wasn't easy, man. Again, I'm hats off to this fresh lean attack Yamaha team. You know, we knew, we had a little bit of a cushion yesterday, but we knew these boys would be coming. Everybody would be improving today, so we had to do our homework overnight. The boys made the bike a little easier to ride. We improved on a couple little sections. Man, I got off to a great start. Bobby came by me down in 5, man, and I knew everybody was going to stick it up in me, but I managed to get back by him, get a couple clean laps there, and just managed to inch away there. But again, hats off to the fans here, man. This place is packed, and seeing it on the cool down lap, it's amazing, and we haven't seen anything like this in a long time. So hats off to all you fans. Yamaha Financial Services, Akrapovic Braking, Hustle Hard Racing, Carbon In, NGK, Track Day, Zero Gravity, Dunlop. Again, these tires are holding up amazing. Arai Helmets, Alpine Stars. Thanks again to all you fans watching at home, my friends and family, girlfriend, my dog. Woo!
A very happy Jake Gagne, guys. Let's get over to Jamie, who has our 2nd place finisher.
And that's Cameron Peterson. We talked to him on the grid. He finished 3rd yesterday, able to get now his 2nd podium result for you, Cameron. You fought at the beginning of this race, at the start, just as you had planned. When you are able to do that and then you hold on for a podium, how encouraged are you for the rest of the season?
Yeah, that was kind of the plan executed. We had spoke about it before the race, what I needed to do, and luckily enough, I got off to a really good start, and actually got by Jake going into 5 there, but he was just so strong on the brakes that, he blew by me, and yeah, my goal was just to try to keep him in sight for the whole race, and just have some carrot to chase, and I did that for the most part. I backed it off the last 2 laps there just to bring it home, but honestly, I can't thank my team enough. Team Hammer, M4, X-Star, Suzuki, you guys rock. Honestly, they've worked their butts off to get me to this point, and they gave me the opportunity. They believed in me, and we're finally starting to do it. So, hats off to my whole crew, Dave, Rhett, Seb, Grant. They're the reason why I'm up here. So, hats off to them, and massive shout out to Olins, Dunlop, everybody who's in my corner. I can't thank you guys enough, and to my family back home watching, love you guys, miss you guys, and all my friends as well, and let's keep the ball rolling.
Let's keep it rolling. That's your 2nd place finisher, Cameron Peterson. Hannah.
3rd place today goes to Matthew Skoltz, and it's been a bit of a challenging weekend for you, but here we are back on the podium. Quite a lonely race right until the end there. Bobby Fong started making some gains on you. Where were you able to kind of find the strength to hold him off at the line?
To be honest, I didn't really know that Bobby was that close to me, so I was just kind of doing what I could. I was having trouble, just trying to finish off the race there, but happy to just bring it home on the podium. Yesterday was a really difficult race. We've been struggling a lot here. This track doesn't really suit me with how I ride, and the speed hasn't really been there, so we kind of figured a couple of things out. I'd just like to really say thank you to the Westby guys. They worked hard last night to kind of get us here. Thank you to Bell, Spitty, to my family and my wife watching back home. Love you guys. To all the fans, it's really awesome to see everyone here. Last year with the whole COVID deal, it was lonely coming out to the races, but just really looking forward to the next time out, and just trying to kind of catch up to Jake. He's been riding awesome, and well done to Cam. I've known Jake and Cam since we were kids, really. It's really awesome to be up at the top Superbike level, finishing on the podium together. So thank you to everyone watching back home, and we'll be back fighting hard.
Matthew Skoltz rounding out our HONOS Superbike podium.
Yeah, Jay, you got to be satisfied with that. All right, more coming at you from MotoAmerica as we continue our post-race coverage here at MotoAmerica.